We've all encountered that moment when someone looked at us with doubt in their eyes, as if every dream or ambition we held was simply too grand or unrealistic. That skepticism can sting, but it can also spark a fire deep within, a fire that says, "I will rise above your expectations." The truth is, proving others wrong isn't about vengeance or feeding our pride. It's about demonstrating our inner strength, our resilience, and our unshakable resolve. Every time someone questions your ability, you are given a golden opportunity, an opportunity to outshine the voices telling you it can't be done. Sometimes, these voices come from the outside world, friends, family members, or colleagues who simply cannot imagine something bigger than their own limitations. Other times, that voice of doubt echoes within, shaped by our fears and insecurities. But remember this, nobody's disbelief, not even your own, is powerful enough to hold you back if you decide to move forward anyway. We often wait for validation, a sign from the universe or approval from our peers, before chasing what we truly want. Yet, the most vital permission you'll ever receive must come from yourself. The question you must ask is, why not me? Why shouldn't you be the one to break barriers, defy expectations, and redefine what's possible? Far too many people allow themselves to become prisoners of conventional thinking, settling for what's familiar and safe. But greatness has never emerged from complacency. The extraordinary is born when you choose to persist beyond the ordinary. It's time to break free from any cage built by cynics or by your own hesitations. Embrace the process of challenging established norms, even your own. To prove them wrong is not an act of rebellion. It's an act of liberation. You're freeing yourself from the weight of their limitations, standing tall in your conviction that you were destined for more. Each morning, recall those who have doubted you and use their skepticism as motivation. Fuel yourself with the knowledge that every small step toward your goal is a triumph over disbelief. And in the end, the greatest victory will not be silencing their doubts, but demonstrating your boundless capacity to grow. For when you finally arrive at the pinnacle you've envisioned, it will be clear to everyone, including yourself, that you are always capable of soaring. The difference is, now you have chosen to spread your wings. Proving them wrong begins with the fundamental belief that you already hold the seeds of success. Too often, people underestimate themselves by focusing on what they lack rather than recognizing what they have. Instead of zeroing on gaps in your knowledge or your skills, consider the strengths and passions that drive you. Ask yourself, what lights a spark within me? What talents do I possess that, when honed, could create something truly remarkable? Once you identify those abilities, commit to developing them tirelessly. No one ever achieved anything noteworthy by half-hearted effort. The champions, innovators, and leaders we admire have one thing in common. They decided their dreams were worth the sacrifice. But make no mistake, sacrifice is inherent on this path. You might lose sleep, work through weekends, or confront waves of self-doubt. It's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're pushing your boundaries. Rather than fear the struggle, learn to embrace it. Each challenge you face will sharpen your skills, deepen your resolve, and remind you the power you hold. When naysayers predict you'll quit, show them your resilience by showing up day after day, unwavering in your pursuit. Prove them wrong by continuing to push forward even when the finish line remains out of sight. At the same time, keep in mind that proving them wrong is not just about standing victorious in the end. It's about the transformation you undergo along the way. Every step you take is an affirmation that you trust yourself enough to keep moving, even if others fail to see your potential. It is in the crucible of doubt that greatness is often forged. So, welcome their comments, their whispers, and their disbelief. Let all remind you that your vision is bigger than their constraints. Confidence doesn't emerge fully formed. It takes shape through action. Each time you take another bold step, you solidify a foundation beneath your ambition. Over time, you'll find you're no longer running from the limitations others set, but rather you're running toward the boundless horizon of what could be. And by doing so, you illuminate a path that others can follow, teaching them that the impossible becomes possible when met with unwavering determination. The key to all of this is believing you are worthy of rising to that challenge. Yet, it's not enough to believe you can do it. You must also act like you can. Action. powered by faith in yourself, is a force that reshapes your reality. You don't need to have all the answers or a foolproof plan from the start. Clarity emerges as you venture forward, stumble, learn, and adjust. Waiting for everything to be perfectly aligned is merely another way to stall. The hesitation often stems from fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of looking foolish, or fear of exposing our weaknesses. But mistakes are part of the growth process, and each misstep can be a stepping stone if you choose to see it that way. Look back on any person you admire for accomplishing great things, an athlete, an entrepreneur, an artist. What you'll find they share is not simply talent, but determination in the face of adversity. They understood that risking failure was a necessary step toward achieving success. They didn't hide from obstacles. They tackled them head-on, each time refining their approach. This mindset is what separates those who merely dream from those who make their dreams a reality. Moreover, let's reframe failure as feedback rather than an endpoint. When you try something and it doesn't work out, it's not a verdict on your worth as a person. It's data, pure and simple. Data you can use to refine your methods, adapt, and come back stronger. If you focus on learning instead of lamenting, you'll find there's no such thing as truly failing, just evolving. The so-called failures only cement your determination, letting you say to everyone watching, "I'm not done. Watch me adapt and come out on top." The voices of critics, whether inside or outside your mind, grow quiet in the face of relentless perseverance. When your determination speaks loud and clear, those who insisted you couldn't make it are compelled to pause and reconsider. Eventually, some will even switch sides, from skeptics to supporters. But even if they never do, it's irrelevant. Your path isn't shaped by their acceptance. It's shaped by your conviction. Remember, you're not out to silence them with your words or arguments. You're out to show them with tangible proof that your vision was always within reach. That subtle shift from telling to showing is the essence of proving them wrong. In your quest to defy the odds, discipline becomes your most steadfast ally. Motivation, while valuable, can fade when difficulties mount or when the initial burst of excitement dwindles. Discipline, on the other hand, acts as a steady engine that drives you forward even on the hardest days. It shows up in the early morning hours when the rest of the world sleeps. It manifests in the quiet evenings when you resist distractions to keep working on your craft. Discipline is a thread weaving through every successful story because it keeps you anchored to your goals, especially when the journey is anything but easy. Think about the times you might have made an elaborate plan for your future. Maybe it was to master a new skill, start a business, or push your body to new fitness heights. Initially, your ambition was sky high. Then reality set in. The learning curve was steep, progress seemed slow, and you questioned whether it was worth it. This is precisely when discipline either cements your resolve or your dream fades away. It says, regardless of how I feel at this moment, I will do what I have set out to do. That's the promise you make to yourself. Moreover, discipline isn't about punishing yourself. It's about prioritizing your long-term goals over short-term comfort. When you decide to commit, you essentially declare that your vision of tomorrow is worth enduring the discomforts of today. This attitude fortifies your mind against self-doubt and external negativity. The days when you muster the will to persevere despite the absence of immediate results are the days you truly prove how serious you are about your ambitions. Yet, remember that discipline requires grace. You will stumble. You will have days where you can't tick off every item on your to-do list. The difference is how you respond to those days. Instead of wallowing in guilt, acknowledge the stumble, correct your course, and continue. Proving them wrong isn't about perfect execution. It's about unwavering commitment. By choosing discipline in the face of setbacks, you send a powerful message to anyone watching, and more importantly to yourself, that your determination is not a passing whim. It's the unbreakable bond between who you are now and the triumphant person you aim to become. As the journey unfolds, you'll undoubtedly encounter obstacles, moments of failure, unexpected detours, and harsh criticism. It's critical to understand that these obstacles are not signals to stop, but rather opportunities for growth and transformation. If everything came easily, there would be little to distinguish success from mediocrity. The real difference maker is how you handle adversity. Rather than letting it define or discourage you, use it as a teacher. Countless people give up right before their breakthrough, overwhelmed by the weight of setbacks. They can't see that stumbling blocks can become stepping stones if approached with the right mindset. Imagine the regret of quitting just moments before discovering how close you actually were to success. Instead, gather the lessons from your missteps. Keep refining your strategies and stand firm in the knowledge that difficulties are part of the process. Nothing worthwhile ever grows in the comfort zone. For those who doubt you, your willingness to push through adversity becomes a living testament to your inner power. Critics often expect you to fold when the pressure mounts. That's precisely when you must press on. Each setback can become a rallying point, a chance to show that you won't be deterred by the unforeseen. The very nature of success is that it's often built on layers of challenges that test your courage and your capacity to adapt. During these tough phases, it's worth remembering that adversity isn't unique to you. Every remarkable person has faced countless roadblocks. The difference is that they persisted while others retreated. Think of adversity as a rite of passage, the gateway you must pass through to reach your fullest potential. When you approach difficulties with the mindset that they are here to refine, not define you, you gain a powerful advantage. As the world sees you repeatedly stand back up after being knocked down, you embody the truth that no doubter or critic can keep you from realizing your destiny. In that sense, each adversity not only strengthens you, but also becomes another exhibit of your determination to prove them wrong in the most undeniable way. Accountability is the foundation upon which you construct this entire journey of proving skeptics wrong. It's all too easy to blame external circumstances or people, supervisors, competitors, the economy, even family, for why your goals aren't materializing. But the moment you hand over blame, you surrender your own power. Accepting responsibility for both your triumphs and your failures is a profound shift. It says, my life is shaped by my choices, and if I want a different result, I must make different decisions. When you decide to own your situation, you stop waiting for someone to rescue you or for some miraculous windfall. To change your life, you become proactive rather than reactive. This shift in mindset fuels real progress. You start to say, if I want better knowledge, I'll go learn. If I lack skills, I'll train diligently. If I'm not getting the results I want, I'll pivot and adjust my methods. There's immense freedom in realizing you're the architect of your outcomes. Still, accountability demands self-honesty, which can be uncomfortable. It means you have to face your weaknesses, your inconsistencies, and the ways in which you sabotage yourself, consciously or unconsciously. Yet it's that raw honesty that paves the way for significant transformation. By admitting where you've gone astray, you also pinpoint your opportunity for growth. This responsibility is not about self-blame or shame. It's about empowerment. It's about stepping into your full potential by recognizing that your destiny lies in your hands. Those around you, your naysayers and your supporters alike, observe how you respond to failure. Complaining, deflecting blame, or making excuses only reinforces their doubts. But when you stand up, own your missteps, and keep moving forward, it sends an unmistakable message of integrity. Over time, even the fiercest skeptics may come to respect your unwavering commitment to self-improvement. By embracing accountability, you effectively strip critics of their ammunition. They can say you're wrong, but they cannot claim you shy away from responsibility. In that moment, you're not only proving them wrong about your capabilities, you're showing them a deeper truth. You possess the resolve and courage to write your own story, no matter the obstacles. Fear lurks behind so many missed opportunities. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, even fear of success. Sometimes, that fear is internal, silently sabotaging your progress by sowing doubt in your mind before you even begin. Other times, it's stoked by the negativity of people around you who highlight every possible peril or pitfall. Yet fear doesn't have to become a roadblock. Instead, you can transform it into fuel that propels you toward your goals. Start by recognizing that fear is often projection, a story your mind weaves about what could go wrong. If you take a closer look, you might see that most of these imagined outcomes never come to pass. Even if they do, you have the inner strength to adapt. When you decide to confront your fears, you take back power over your own narrative. You stop letting potential failures define you and start writing your own path forward. One of the most effective ways to handle fear is to shine a spotlight on it. Identify the fear, name it, dissect it. Ask yourself, is this threat real or hypothetical? Then evaluate how you could address the worst-case scenario. Often, when you break it down, you'll see that the fear is either unlikely or that you have more tools than you realize to handle it. This practical approach demystifies fear, shrinking it from an overwhelming monster into a manageable challenge. It's also beneficial to remember that fear is not necessarily bad. It's a natural response that can keep us alert and motivated. The trick is not letting it evolve into paralysis. If anything, let fear heighten your awareness. Use it to sharpen your focus and remind you that your ambitions are worth defending. Step by step, you'll learn that navigating through discomfort is the surest way to grow. Each time you refuse to let fear dictate your actions, you build a thicker layer of courage. Over time, you'll look back and realize that fear was never as powerful as a determination rooted in your heart. And it is that steadfast determination that will ultimately prove them wrong, showing that no fear is too great to stop you from claiming what you desire. While fear can hold you back, procrastination and inconsistency can be equally corrosive to progress. Many start with high hopes, only to abandon their goals as soon as the initial inspiration fades. That's where discipline, discussed earlier, converges with consistent effort to separate true achievers from daydreamers. If you're genuinely serious about proving the doubters wrong, you must adopt a routine that nudges you forward daily. Each small action compounds over time, gradually building the robust foundation you need for lasting success. It's not about making colossal leaps overnight. More often, it's the little steps repeated consistently that create the biggest transformations. For instance, writing a few pages each day leads to a completed book, or practicing a skill regularly turns raw talent into professional-level expertise. This consistent practice also develops your resilience, as you learn to keep going when external validation is nowhere to be found. You come to understand that genuine progress often happens away from the limelight, in those quiet moments where no one is cheering you on. Moreover, staying consistent sends a clear message to those who doubt you. You're not here for a fleeting success story. You're here for the long haul. Your actions demonstrate that your commitment isn't just an emotional high, but a carefully cultivated discipline. People may initially dismiss your efforts as a temporary phase, but as weeks turn into months and months into years, your unwavering pursuit becomes undeniable proof of your dedication. However, remember to pace yourself. Consistency should not morph into burnout. Balance is crucial. Neglecting rest, relationships, or mental well-being will eventually undermine your efforts. Instead, aim for sustainable habits that you can maintain over the long term. Create a structured plan that includes both work and downtime. This rhythm ensures you have the energy and focus to keep delivering over weeks, months, and years. Ultimately, it's a marathon, not a sprint. The consistent accumulation of small victories fortifies your confidence, making it increasingly difficult for anyone, critics included, to doubt your trajectory. And with each passing milestone, you move closer to a reality that once seemed out of reach, effectively demonstrating that their skepticism was misplaced all along. Another crucial step in silencing the naysayers is realizing that you don't need anyone's permission to aim high and push boundaries. Sometimes we wait for external approval, a green light from a mentor or the nod of a friend. But the truth is, you have everything within you to start now. Waiting for the perfect moment or the unanimous support of others can lead to indefinite delays. Life is short, and every day spent hesitating is a day you could have been climbing toward your dream. That's not to say guidance and mentorship are unimportant. In fact, seeking out the wisdom of those who walked a similar path can shorten your learning curve. Yet, it's vital to differentiate between receiving valuable feedback and waiting for a crowd to cheer you on. You must be your own greatest advocate. If you constantly look to others to validate your desires, you may never begin at all, because there's always someone who will question your readiness or your approach. The voices of external critics can be loud, but sometimes it's the inner critic that poses the greatest threat. You might tell yourself, "I'm not skilled enough, I'm too old," or "someone else is already doing it better." These thoughts form mental barricades that can be more daunting than any external judgment. Tackle them head-on by focusing on incremental progress, rather than perceived perfection. Success rarely arrives fully formed. It is shaped piece by piece through effort, feedback, and iteration. When you finally decide to chart your own course, free from a need for unanimous applause, you empower yourself. Each choice you make from that standpoint of self-assuredness is inherently stronger and more authentic. Critics may accuse you of being naive or unrealistic, but you'll find their words carry less weight when you understand your own motivations. Prove them wrong by acting with conviction, trusting that your ambition is valid, and forging ahead regardless of whether the world is ready for your vision. In doing so, you illustrate an enduring truth. Permission to chase your dream was something only you could grant, and in granting it, you take a decisive step toward fulfilling your ultimate potential. Regret often stems not from what we attempted, but from what we failed to pursue. The journey toward proving them wrong is riddled with risks, yes, but those risks pale in comparison to the torment of wondering, what if I had tried? Think about reaching a pivotal age and realizing you never took that leap of faith you once so passionately considered. That pang of regret can be one of life's heaviest burdens. Prove them wrong by showing not only that your ambition was justified, but also that you were courageous enough to act on it rather than letting it remain an unfulfilled fantasy. Settling for mediocrity might feel safe, but this safety is often illusory. The cost of playing small is the loss of your potential's grandest expressions. We often rationalize staying in our comfort zone by telling ourselves that we're just being realistic. But realism can quickly turn into resignation. While there's nothing wrong with practicality, it should never suffocate your dreams. Listen carefully to any sense of restlessness within you. That restlessness is your spirit's way of saying there's more you're meant to do, become, or explore. When you acknowledge that your life is finite, it sparks urgency. This urgency isn't about being reckless. It's about being decisive. If something matters to you, be it writing that novel, launching that startup, or pursuing that intense training regimen, why wait? Most regrets revolve around paths not taken, words not spoken, and moments allowed to pass unseized. Acting now is your antidote to that regret. Each bold move you make is a direct statement to the world, and to those who doubt you, that your potential is not up for debate. Furthermore, the pursuit of your goals breathes life into your everyday. Suddenly, each morning is filled with purpose, each night with reflection on what you achieved and what lies ahead. The monotony of a half-lived life dissolves into a meaningful quest. And this quest, whether it culminates in massive success or evolves into a different path entirely, is the embodiment of living fully. Even if you stumble or decide to pivot, you do so knowing you answer that call to try. In that sense, proving them wrong means living without the chains of regret, confident that you dare to chase the dreams others deemed impossible. Self-improvement is a continuous process that strengthens your capacity to silence doubts and fuel your upward trajectory. When you invest in learning, be it reading books, attending workshops, or practicing a new discipline, you enlarge your toolkit. With every new piece of knowledge or skill acquired, you reduce the influence of external skepticism. Critics might say you're not qualified, but your ongoing commitment to personal growth gradually dismantles that narrative. You morph from someone they once undervalued into a formidable force who consistently evolves. In addition, personal development isn't just about professional skills. Your emotional intelligence and mindset also need ongoing refinement. If you aim to lead, you must cultivate empathy and clear communication. If you want to excel as a creator, you need resilience to handle criticism. Holistic self-improvement keeps you balanced, ensuring that you don't become lopsided in your pursuit of excellence. True growth happens when you push your limits on multiple fronts, adopting new perspectives and stepping out of familiar routines. It's also vital to surround yourself with individuals who encourage development rather than stifle it. Seek out communities or mentorships where the collective goal is to lift everyone higher. This environment doesn't just offer guidance. It reaffirms your commitment to being more than what doubters labeled you. You'll find that when you pair your own efforts with that of a supportive network, the progress can accelerate far beyond what you imagined. Plus, you learn from others' experiences, sidestepping pitfalls they've already navigated. Each time you refine your expertise or broaden your horizons, you accumulate evidence that counters the naysayers. You're essentially laying out a roadmap that says, I have the capacity to change, and because of that, There's no cap to what I can achieve. The more you upgrade your capabilities, the less their judgments matter. Proving them wrong becomes a natural byproduct of becoming the very best version of yourself. Ultimately, the spotlight shouldn't be on them and their disapproval. It should be on the wealth of possibilities that unfold when you commit to unending growth. In this way, self-improvement becomes a silent statement of victory. No arguments needed, just undeniable progress that speaks volumes. Remember, too, that you're leading by example, even if you don't hold a formal leadership position. Whether you realize it or not, people are watching your journey. Colleagues, friends, and family members notice your choices, the way you handle setbacks, the discipline you demonstrate, and the manner in which you refuse to yield to doubt. Through your actions, you become a living testament to what is possible when someone decides to rise above limitations. In proving them wrong, you often become a beacon for others who are teetering on the edge of their own big decisions. They might see you putting in extra hours at night, studying relentlessly or continuously refining your craft, and think, maybe I can do it too. That's the true power of your journey. Not only do you dismantle constraints others place on you, but you also dissolve the constraints they may have placed on themselves. By stepping confidently into your potential, you grant others permission to do the same. And this influence is cyclical. When those around you begin to embrace their capabilities, you're further inspired to continue your climb. It becomes less about proving them wrong in a confrontational sense, and more about illuminating what can be achieved when doubt is replaced by faith and effort. You create a culture of resilience and positivity that resonates far beyond your personal sphere. Never underestimate the ripple effects of authentic pursuit. One person's decision to dream bigger can shift perspectives, alter career paths, or spark creativity in unexpected ways. In many cases, the ultimate triumph isn't just your personal achievements. It's the overall uplift you trigger in your environment. The naysayers might remain in disbelief, but even they can't ignore the transformative energy that follows you. In the end, success and inspiration become inseparable. You stand as a reminder that we're not bound by the cages of skepticism or criticism. We're bound only by our willingness to push forward. And in leading by example, you prove that the impossible starts to look a lot like the inevitable when you put your heart and mind into it. All of these elements, confidence, discipline, accountability, resilience, and constant growth, culminate in the legacy you leave behind. Proving them wrong is never just about a single victory or reaching a single destination. It's about shaping a life story so compelling that anyone who doubted you will recognize they were mistaken to do so. More importantly, it's about you realizing how capable you truly are. Legacy is the aggregate of your daily actions, your defining moments, and your enduring impact on the people around you. When you reflect on your life, you'll see that the real highlight wasn't simply telling skeptics they were wrong. It was discovering how your own courage to defy them unlocked an entirely new level of existence. Every risk taken, every fear faced, every hour of disciplined work. These are the building blocks of a future you can stand upon with pride. In time, the opinions of the doubters fade into background, overshadowed by the remarkable journey you've undertaken. Consider also how your legacy influences future generations. Your story can be the narrative that keeps someone going when they're at their breaking point. Your example may be the reason they push through adversity instead of succumbing to it. And thus, the act of proving them wrong transcends any immediate, short-lived sense of triumph. It evolves into a broader contribution to the collective human experience, lighting the path for those who follow. So, step confidently forward. Let your actions serve as a resonant statement, echoing far beyond this moment. Doubt may nip at your heels. Critics may jeer from the sidelines, and challenges will inevitably appear. None of that matters once you've committed to honoring the vast reservoir of potential within you. Fuel your days with purpose, lead with unwavering determination, and never lose sight of the unwavering core that guides you, your belief in yourself. In doing so, you'll orchestrate a symphony of achievement far more powerful than any chorus of skepticism. Yes, you will prove them wrong, but in the process, you'll also prove something far more vital, that you were always ready to soar, and every doubt cast your way was merely a step on the staircase to your greatest self. Before you take that final stride into your destiny, pause for a moment and acknowledge just how far you've come. Reflect on the times you doubted yourself, the nights you lay awake wondering if you had the fortitude to rise above the criticisms. Realize that each day you chose to keep going, each hour you spent refining your skills, and every drop of sweat or tears shed along the way has molded you into the person you are now. This final moment of reflection isn't about basking in self-congratulation. Rather, it's about recognizing the resilience and progress that have carried you to this threshold. We are often so fixated on the peak that we forget to honor the climb. Yet it's the climb, with all its hurdles and hard-won lessons, that defines us far more than simply standing at the summit. When you step forward from here, do so with a profound sense of gratitude, not just for the achievements, but for every challenge that forced you to evolve. Be grateful for the critics who once spurred you on, because their doubt compelled you to tap into reserves of strength you might never have discovered otherwise. In many ways, their skepticism was a hidden gift. Without opposition, we seldom find incentive to push as hard or delve as deep within ourselves. As you cross this threshold, you do so carrying the lessons that come from adversity, the character built by accountability, and the unwavering courage forged in the face of fear. This combination isn't merely a recipe for success. It's a testament to the extraordinary power of human potential. Finally, understand that your mission continues. This isn't the end. It's a continuation of a lifelong endeavor to explore what you're truly capable of. Proving them wrong was a powerful motivator, but now the question transforms. How far can you go when you realize the greatest competition was never the critics, but the limitations you once placed on yourself? The horizon stretches infinitely, awaiting your next moves. Each new challenge can be a stepping stone to greater heights and deeper fulfillment. And with every step, you solidify the reality that you are bound by nothing but your will to keep growing. In the grand tapestry of your story, let this be the chapter that declares, with unmistakable clarity, that you have chosen to surpass every doubt and expectation, validating your potential in ways that resonate far beyond your personal sphere. Step boldly into the next phase, championed by your own triumphant spirit, and always remember the legacy you continue to shape, a living proof that no voice of doubt, no matter how loud, can overshadow a heart set on conquering every obstacle in its path.